Part 2 update on Harbor Square. Like I said, I was outside my door, outside my friend's door, talking to her, and he was just so paranoid that he had to go up there and get Barbara Poe. And of course, she wasn't even out here, which is kind of funny how she would back him up on the things he says, because she's not even out here when it all began anyway. So it's kind of weird how that happens. How people will lie, and that's basically what she was doing. Um, and she just kept on saying, "Stop talking to me." And the thing is, the only thing I said to her is that I heard the conversation, and it's duly noted, and that it's been recorded and documented. And she got all mad at me, and that's what she kept saying, like she was on, like kind of like she was brain dead or slow or something. "Stop talking to me!" Like, you don't talk to me, and I don't always talk to her. See, it's like another thing she says, like when I said something to one of her neighbors, I said it one time. She told them that I always say stuff to her neighbors every time somebody comes over, and that's not even true. I said something one time, so therefore she spends and says I always say something. That's what they do. Or if I'm outside the door, they'll embellish it and say, "Oh, I'm always out there. I'm out there sometimes." Outside they're talking to my friend, Kathy. But, I'm not out there outside his door. I'm just across from him, and at least says it's perfectly okay. But see, according to Dumbo and Barber, they don't like it. So, that's how they act. And of course, he just agitates the lady above him. And her name's Barbara, too. And he just aggravates her and tries to scare her. Like when she shuts the door, he slams the door. When she turns on water, he turns on water. It's like childish behavior. A lot of that's going on, shining lights from his car up into her apartment, just to agitate and aggravate her. But that's what he does. And every time he leaves, he's always got to slam his door real loud. It's not because he can't hear. He just does it deliberately. And he'll do it twice. And he's got to make sure it's locked. When I know when I shut my door and I turn the key, you ought to know the damn thing's locked. But this guy is just rude and just disrespectful. He's not doing it because he's got a problem. He's not narcissistic. He's just doing it to be disrespectful and difficult. Okay? Because when he first moved in, he never did that. And then he just started doing that as he was over here. Matter of fact, Danny's got a history. He's done stuff like this over across the way when he was on the other side. He came from the other side originally. And there's a lot of problems similar to what we're having over here with him stirring up stuff, embellishing stuff, saying stuff that is not true or making it up, just adding to it, and then getting other people involved in it. Because all these people are borderline personality or bipolar people, so that's why they hang together. Both Trisha and Barbara and Danny, they all have similar personalities. And sometimes they get in fights with each other and then they won't talk for a little bit and then they'll make up. Now, since all the energy is on me and they're trying to get me out here, it's like a new thing for them. But see, like I said, if I were to leave, they would find someone else and they would do the same thing. And they would try to turn everything around on them to make it look like they're the bad person when really the person is the victim, is getting mistreated by these people. Because they want to engineer something and lie and turn it all around and bamboozle the landlord on top of that to unjustly evict me for something that I'm not even doing or something that I did not do in the first place. It's just they like to tell lies. They're very good manipulators and very good talkers, and they just don't tell the truth. And that's what these kind of people are. They're not smart. What I think they are is just really stupid and really dumb because they just don't have nothing else to do with their time. Danny's place isn't always clean, and Barbara's place isn't always clean either. Sometimes I smell smells coming from out of her apartment, like bad trash or something. It's like she's more worried about what I'm doing than worried about taking care of her basic needs. And the same thing is true about Danny. If he's so worried about what everybody's doing and calling the office every day, just like Barbara does, if they were calling the office every day, then they wouldn't, if they had things to do and they were taking care of their business like they're supposed to, they wouldn't have to take their time to waste their time on stupid matters that are peddly in nature. Okay? But they tend to consume their time and energies and efforts all in stupid stuff like that because they just have mental problems. And mental people that have problems like that, they're narcissistic and like to be borderline, personality, have problem disorders like that, do things like that. So, and the thing is, the landlord believes them. And I don't know how she believes them, but she does. And it's really crazy because she can't see that they're just trying to get me out. It's like the bed bug thing didn't work, so now we're going to revert back to the privacy thing, and that he's outside my door listening. They never bring up Kathy's name, but they bring up my name all the time. Or like he says, I have a big mouth, when yet his mouth is the biggest mouth in the whole building. Danny's mouth, that is. I mean, you can hear him. You can be in the backyard and he'd be on the phone call in the office talking about something I'm saying or doing when I'm not doing anything. It's just he's misconstruing it and making it and telling lies and making up stuff and embellishing it. And of course, he'll tell these stories, and they're not even true, to say the least. And the funny thing is, you can hear him all the way in the backyard or in the front. You don't even have to listen to him because he's so loud. It's like he wants everybody to hear it. Make an announcement, talk about somebody's loud. He's very loud. He's like louder than me. He's like the loudest in the building. And I'm not intimidated by him because I got him pegged. I know what he's about, and he don't fool me. And I know what Barbara's about, too. She don't fool me either. She's not innocent in it at all, to say the least. She's outside recording things in my apartment with a recorder, and that's illegal. I broke one last week, and I think she's mad about that. Somebody put a recorder out there, digital recorder, and I got it and broke it and smashed it into pieces, and I got it in here. And, because you're not supposed to be recording things outside the apartment, and I think she put it there. And, of course, they don't have it now, and they're pissed off about that. And, that's how bad it's getting over here. It's really that crazy and bizarre. And they keep telling me I have to move, and I'm like, I don't have to move because I didn't cause these problems. You all have a problem with me, and that's what I said to him. And see, it's like he's being nice, taking me around places in this car. He's like telling the manager, like, oh, he's been good and that he's trying so hard to do something good for me. Well, really, that was just him trying to get information out of me, even though I didn't really tell him anything anyway. I just told him what he wanted to hear, which was just a bunch of bullshit. Because I knew what he was doing. And I'm not going to tell him the truth about how I feel about things. Now, I did tell him a little something way back, say like 3 months ago. And, of course, what happened was Barbara called the office and said the same things I said, and that's how I knew he told her. And so I knew that's what he was doing. See, I just tested him a little bit, told a little bit. And he basically went back to them and told her. He went up there and told her everything I said, and she went and called the office and bamboozled the landlord and thinking this stuff. Because she's the one that runs the building. She's the one telling people who to talk to and who not to talk to. Because like when I said something to a person when she was saying stuff about me that wasn't even true, and that's why I said something to one of her guests. And I only did that one time, not all the time, like she rebuttals and lies and exaggerates. One time I said something. And, of course, she always slams her door a lot of times, right? So that's another thing. I started slamming my door a few days because I got tired of the slamming. So she called the office and told them I was slamming my door a lot when she does it all the time. So then I got a violation because of that. And really, it was unjust because she always slams the door. And I told the office about it before this happened. And, of course, the landlord, she denies it. She says, I never heard anything about it. And she's always siding with them. It's like she's from an abusive relationship, and she feels threatened by them because they've gone to the office, or they feel like they have power over her, and yet she's the landlord. She should have power over them and make them feel scared and not feel threatened by their antics, because all they are is little peons with a big mouth. And see, that's what she needs to realize, because she's the landlord. And she needs to do her job, and she's not doing her job. She can't handle her composure. She can't handle her stress. She's not very stable. She's all over the place when she's talking to you. She doesn't follow through sentences and doesn't stay on the right sentences all the time. And these are things I've noticed just by observing her as a landlord. But other than that, I don't talk to her except just to pay rent. And I don't have nothing against her, but that's just what I've observed over time, just watching and listening and seeing what she does and how she interacts with other tenants. And to me, the land, when the tree fell on the apartment, it was here for about 2 weeks. The place looked horrible, and it took them a while to get that straight. When it should have been done the next couple days. I know when we had the landlord here that was here before her, named Nancy, she would have had it done the very next 2 days. It wouldn't have been 2-3 weeks. And the place wouldn't look like the way it looks, all crappy. I mean, I had clients that come here to see me, said the place looks like crap, except they didn't use that word. They said, why does the place look like this? I said, I don't know. I guess you'll have to talk to the landlord who's in charge of this place, because she's not doing her job. I guess that's probably why it looks like this, but, I hope she does do something. Otherwise, you can always call HUD or the health department. That's what I said. Because, it was looking pretty bad. But they finally got somebody here 2 weeks ago, and they removed the tree. And, it's actually looking better. However, we still have weeds growing through the asphalt, and yet weeds shouldn't be growing through the asphalt outside. And, There's still some work that needs to be done with the landscaping around here. I mean, cutting the grass is good, but they need to do some work with the bushes and all, and planting new bushes in the back here in the building here and all around. And they still haven't fixed the gutter on top of the building where the tree hit the building out here. That's still damaged and has yet been repaired. And it's been about almost a month later. The storm that came through that did that damage occurred on June 16. So, we're almost getting on a month here. We're closing. It's the 9th of July right now. So one more week, about another week and a half, it'll be a month. And the gutter has yet been repaired. And, if you want people to move in, you want to have a nice place, appearance needs to always be good. And, of course, the morale needs to be good around here, and it's not. They don't have as many activities scheduled like they used to. One thing about Nancy, she was always good about scheduling plenty of activities for the residents here. And I think that did boost morale. But we don't have as many activities like we used to have. And it's pretty sad because, half the people would go to them if they would advertise it. Not just put it in the calendar, but put it on the bulletin board. And sometimes they have things going on and they put it in the newsletter, but sometimes it doesn't always make it to the bulletin board. They have a coordinator over here too. And her name is, she does okay of a job. I don't think she's all that great. She doesn't get along with, most of the people. If somebody asks her a question she don't want to talk about, she shuts down, But yet she wants to ask you questions, but yet she won't answer your questions. So that doesn't seem very sociable to me. But, I don't really use her because I know how to go about things to find out things like that myself because, I work with people and I also help run a church and I know a lot about all that things because I've been around that stuff all my life. So I don't really need to have her services. But I actually read things to people here that live here too, and I don't charge a fee or anything. I just do it for free as a ministry for people that need understanding or clarification on documents or forms that they have. And, I actually do a lot of that. I was doing that work before she even came here. But, I still do it. And some people don't go see her because they don't like her either. So they come to see me. So it's all good because, I don't get paid to do it, but I just do it out of love, for love. And that's what it's all about. But, just to give you an update. So the tactic was to get me out here was through saying I don't get along with people. And the landlord was saying that everybody in the complex in all the buildings have been saying I've been doing all kinds of things bad and that nobody likes me here. And that she's got complaints from every building about this, maybe asking them for rides when I didn't even go to every building. So that was exaggerated. That must have came from Dumbo, Bambi, and Barbara Poe. I think they came up with that story because that was all grossly exaggerated and embellished and overworked. Because I didn't go to all the buildings, and if they all had a problem, then why did they offer to give me free rides? Why did they give me rides if they everybody had such a problem? Why did they give me rides? A lot of times I didn't even have to ask. I was just walking, and they asked me if I wanted a ride because they know I don't get around. Apparently that got around, and that was nice. I think Miriam did that, which was really sweet of her. But so some people were helping me get to the store, and other people from other churches are starting to help too. So my ride situation is taken care of, which is good. Thank the Lord for that. I'm sorry I cussed a little bit in this video, but it's really frustrating to live in a place where people want to cause you problems that are unnecessary or warranted because they have demons and issues that they need to resolve within themselves. And they like to label you of things that you're doing when really they're the ones. It's just like Danny said to the police officer when they arrived here yesterday. He said, well, Michael likes to do everything that he wants to do when he wants to do it, and he don't follow any of the rules here. And, that statement was totally false, and it was totally from hell, because that's exactly what he does. It's exactly what he was saying about himself. I don't even do anything like that at all. And so, just to say that what he said right there was basically what he was talking about himself, because he's the one that does all that stuff. It's just manipulation, that's all. And inverting the stuff off of him onto other people. And I happen to be that person. So, and him having kids in his apartment and things, there's been people talking about him having children or underage girls in his apartment and stuff. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that seems to be circulating around. And it's not, I didn't circulate it, but that's what I've heard from other people talking about it. People from Building 5 have seen young people going in his apartment late at night. So I don't know if it's true or not, but all I know is that other people are talking in other buildings about it, and they really are. And of course, and then there's also a rumor going around that he's giving people drugs by selling drugs to them, medications. He's on tryptophan, and other things that he showed me. And I've seen other people going into his apartment that live here that had a history of going around asking other tenants about that. And I'm not going to say his name, but he did do that because somebody told me about it. And I said, well, don't give him any drugs because you'll be breaking the law. And ever since he's been on that drug, this person's been coming over to him, or he's been going over there giving him medicine because he's right over there. So, that's going on too. Danny's been doing that. And so just a lot of things are going on. And, don't worry, I'm on it. And, we're going to get it straight one way or another. If they want to cause stuff for me, I can cause a lot of stuff for them, believe me, because I know real information. I don't make it up. So, and I've been doing a lot of investigation and a lot of intelligent work out here. So, the truth is going to come out about Barbara, too, here before long. A lot of things that she's doing or things that she's doing to other people or what she's done. And that's going to come out here very shortly. So stay tuned. We got more updates coming up, and intel is coming in. Keep it right here. Michael DeSilvas, 200 Church of Christ, and the mouthpiece of independent media. And that's an update of what's going on in Harbor Square with some deranged individuals that really need psychiatric or mental help and possibly need to be put in an assisted living home. And they don't need to live in an independent place. Take care. Have a nice day. It's Michael DeSilvas. Peace. Shalom.